What if the reason training never set right with you isn't because you are doing something wrong, but because you are onto something important? We have been taught that if we want to do life with dogs the right way, we have to train them. And if we don't, we are failing them, our relationship, and we are just in general lazy, irresponsible caregiver that's risking the safety of their dog and everyone around them. Years back, when I knew nothing about dog behavior and when I still thought that I have to train, and by train, I mean any type of rewarding or punishing the dog in order to get an outcome that we humans want. So I believe that I have to train my dog to ensure that he lived his best life possible. And at that point, I didn't exactly know why training didn't sit right with me, because it was supposed to be this great thing that dogs need and love. And I felt super guilty because I didn't provide my dog Brin with it, or didn't provide enough training for him. But honestly, he looked so happy with his peaceful life where he was doing his own thing. And every time we did try practicing some exercises, commands, cues, tricks, whatever you want to call it, he looked so bored. And I knew that he was only doing it because he got a treat at the end, because he would do literally anything for food. I was very young, pretty lost, and with nowhere to turn to because everyone was suggesting training in one form or another. The fact that dogs should be trained, that they should obey everything humans say under the pretense of safety, was so ingrained in me from a very young age that I never imagined that there existed another way of being with dogs. I just knew that I felt as a huge outsider because I didn't want to dictate anyone's life, especially not my dog's. Fast forward a couple of years, when I adopted Benny, I will be eternally grateful to him because it was him who opened the doors to a world that I didn't even know I was searching for all that time. See, Benny was reactive to other dogs, and I wanted to understand why he was behaving this way so I would be able to help him cope better with this difficult situation. But training totally failed at this. It was either feed him treats while other dogs are present and he'll learn not to bark and lunge at them, or some outdated alpha crap. All those years back, I might have not known why training didn't sit well with me, but now I can specifically point out why. And for the purpose of this video, I'd like to talk about two main reasons. First and foremost, training strips the dog of their freedom of choice, from how they move to how they should feel about something. And I think COVID restrictions are still one of the best ways to get a glimpse into what it feels like to have your choices taken away from you. If you're a woman, this concept might be more familiar to you, and not regarding COVID restrictions, but our bodies and our reproductive rights. But for the sake of this video, let's stick to the COVID restrictions that are more familiar to people of all genders. I don't know for you, but not having the freedom to do what I wanted was very uncomfortable to me. And I am a person that enjoys staying at home. So I would probably be home either way, restrictions or no restrictions, but knowing that I didn't have the option to choose made me a bit jittery about staying at home. A good quality of life is hard to achieve if we place too many limitations on an individual's autonomy. Freedom of choice is the best and most important thing that we can offer to our dogs. We already control so many things in their life, from when and what they will eat down to when they pee and poop. Offering them choices whenever possible has huge benefits on their well being. They will be more confident, they'll be better at learning and using their brain, and the problematic behaviors usually go away or significantly reduce. Studies show that the freedom of choice improves cognitive performance. Perceived sense of control also plays a big factor in the relationship between coping and psychological well-being. It is associated with emotional well-being, reduced physiological impact of stressors, and enhanced ability to cope with stress, among many other things. So, freedom of choice actually helps our dogs deal with stressful situations much better. And at this point, you might be asking yourself, but my dog is really reckless, incapable of making good decisions, and if I let them make choices, this will be really dangerous for all. Don't worry, I got you covered, and I will be addressing this specifically in one of my next videos, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And the next thing I like to talk about in today's video is how training can affect the dog's physical health. Training can cause or worsen existing pain. People often say that if the dog was in pain, they wouldn't be doing what we are asking of them. For example, sit down. But that is simply not true. Dogs will do many things despite the pain it causes them. We have no way of knowing how it is in someone else's body. So we should not tell them how they should or shouldn't move, in what kind of position they should be putting their body. I live with chronic pain in my hip area, and when the inflammation is at its worst, simply moving around is very difficult. Being told how to move my body, possibly in positions that cause so much pain, I can only imagine the desperation and frustration the dogs might be feeling. Let's take the still very popular the dog has to have their focus on you, where while walking, the dog has to look at you, or they are constantly looking at you because you've been told that you have to give them treats all the time to keep their focus. This is not a natural position for their head, and it causes discomfort in the neck area, among many other things. And with time, this can lead to a long lasting discomfort and health problems. All dogs might have some age related muscle or skeletal issues, which means asking them to do something on cue can cause or worsen the existing pain. They also experience a reduction in muscle mass and a decline in sensory functions, which can make performing on cue even more challenging. And if we look at puppies, they have a long way to reach their adult size, which means that their bones, their body is still developing. Until then, their joints are very susceptible to damage that can result in serious health issues in the future, like degenerative joint disease, osteoarthritis, hip dysplasia. These are serious conditions that significantly impact the dog's quality of life. These are just some of the reasons why I don't use any type of training obedience, behavior modification in my work, but rather teach my clients how to understand their dog better, teach them about what's going on behind the behavior, how to meet their dog's needs, and how to offer them species appropriate lifestyle. So if training is also something you never felt right about, I want you to know that there is another way. You can reach me at this email if you want to know more. Please subscribe to my channel and see you in the next video.